All right, guys, Ronin Man here. We're back at Spot On Shawn's house. How you doing? Shout out.
Hey, people.
They all asked about you. Everybody was like, hey, Spot On Shawn. Like, the name caught on. Yeah, everybody likes the name.
Spot On Shawn.
I
like it.
He's just, boom. He's right there, you know.
Yeah.
And we also have a friend here.
Antrenei.
All right, so you guys have been friends for how long?
20 years?
About 20 years or more. 25 maybe. Yeah, since we were like 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
And then Shawn's parents came by, and then they knew you, and
Yeah.
you haven't seen them in 20 years, so.
yeah, since high school, since we graduated from high school. So.
No way.
Well, maybe your graduation, your college graduation, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
That's crazy, right? Time flies, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Unless you go to the house, you know.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, you started a business, and they're thinking of a business, and it's like describe the topic, and we'll just kind of start popping back and forth. Yeah.
Well, the name of the
mic's there, yeah.
website that we wanted to start was called The Pussy Bible. And basically, it was going to talk about women, their desires, what they want out of relationships, what they need out of sex, and kind of the preconceived notions that a lot of men have about what makes women happy sexually or romantically that are not necessarily true.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
That's the premise.
Right, and then also you said earlier, like basically some women like could be seen as gold diggers, right?
Right.
But then basically they got that way for a reason.
Right.
So like we're gonna go with the different archetypes of women. Not just where they end up, but how they got there.
Exactly.
And like that. Because a lot of guys, they meet a woman and she's wants money, right? And she asks them about their job.
Right.
Like I think every guy hates when a woman asks you about their job when you first meet him.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing. It's like, what do you do? It's like, it just feels like, it's kind of like a guy asking a woman, it's like, how large is your vagina or something? Or, you know, how big are titties? Like, it's kind of like, whoa, like, yeah, it's kind of like, it feels like, it's like, whoa, you know, this is, where are we going? Like, and then you feel like you're just going to be like sidetracked if you don't. I guess it would be more like if you did that on an online thing where you couldn't see her.
Right.
You know, and like, then you're just like, wait a second, like, what does this guy want? Right. Or how does this guy think about people, you know, or whatever. So I know I hate that when people ask that, you know.
Yeah.
But so what would talk about? Do you have the idea of the archetypes yet? Like you were mentioning some names, you guys.
Well,
Do you have you guys got that far?
Well, we were thinking about having different books of the Bible, you know, like a book of Lauren and a book of Keisha and a book of Tiffany or whatever the case may be. But just describing these different women and their needs.
Give it a shot for the archetypes. If you're just going to like gun to the head, what are the archetypes?
So,
You get the corn off. The corn's going to burn.
let's see.
I know it's
I don't
hard,
know.
but I think you know already.
Yeah.
Because that's why you're doing the book.
Exactly.
Because you already know. Don't be afraid to make a mistake.
So I guess it would-
Let me just say, sometimes
Okay.
when we make an episode, what happens is you're thinking through it,
Right.
and you don't quite have the idea. But as it goes, the idea will actually get better.
Yeah.
So like, don't worry about it's not right or you. I think you know, because otherwise, why would you want to write a book?
When
You
we
know.
were growing up. Okay, so growing up, there were her and 3 other girls.
Yeah.
So it was her and it was 4 of them that I used to be with in high school.
For sisters or for?
Well, they were all friends, you know, and so I liked being around them because they were very different types of girls.
Oh.
And this is actually my first education. Being with them was like kind of like watching them. Were kind of like my first education about women because I would be with them all the time, and then I would just like see kind of how they all. Now, mind you, when I'm young, I'm not really conscious of this. You know what I mean? It was just I just want to know, and I got these 4 girls, and then I got a rapport with them.
Excited, like a new one, a fresh one, a different type.
Well, they were just 4 girls that I used to be with all the
Yeah,
time.
it was it was a situation where he was our friend. There was nothing sexual about it, but just him experiencing our interactions with boys, I guess at the time. We were very young.
You were young,
yeah. So, you know, like someone who may be considered a little more hypersexual than, you know, society tends to think a woman should be, or someone that
like showing more,
or just like
more?
like a woman who like sees a man, is attracted to a man, and decides that she'd like to sleep with that man, and there's no like, oh, I have to wait 3 months, or he has to do this and this before we're sexually involved. But someone just seeing someone, being attracted to them and acting on that attraction. Right. That's not something that women normally do. It's normally very, you know, it's just a process where we're overthinking it and thinking that we have to like check off these certain standards before we're able to be intimate with someone. Right. And I don't think that should be the case.
Right. I always trust girls that are more honest from the beginning, because I think a lot of guys, even on this channel, like a lot of guys think if a woman is overly sexual or too quick, they look at her as not having as much value,
right,
long term, as somebody who is more reticent or not as not as open, right? But there's two things that for myself, I learned this from experience, you know, because I didn't like that kind of girl. Shouldn't say I didn't like. I think I liked all girls. Like I wasn't like against anything, but the other ones just didn't seem as much value, because in a man's mind is like, when it comes to women, it's like it's almost like an emotion meter, like how much does she rung you up, and if she like, you feel like she's like not going to be good to you or something, like the meter goes way down or the meter goes up. And like with girls that are like, I feel like they're could be with a lot of guys, you just don't feel as excited about them. Or if you feel like she's going to give it up tonight, then you feel very excited. Like the girl could not be very hot, but you could actually feel that she's quite hot.
Yeah.
Like actually, you really do feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she wants it.
Yeah.
And a guy when a girl wants it, you feel it. But
it makes you feel like it makes you feel like you're wanted. You're the guy that she wants to.
Like the object of her.
Yeah. It's like I like to feel like I'm like the sex guy, the object. You know what I mean? And when girls are very give it up right now, it's like, oh, she couldn't even wait. I was so attractive that she had to just do it right now. You know what I mean? It makes you feel very validated, maybe is the word, you know?
But how do you feel about her afterwards, after that experience is over? Do you feel...
See, I don't think like that, because a lot of my best relationships, I slept with the girl on the first night. Yeah. Actually, most times I sleep with the girl the first or second night. So it's all about her personality and how she does it. Like one of her friends, I don't want to say her name, but she would sleep with a lot of guys, but we never thought of her as like a hoe. Because of how she did it. I know it sounds strange.
No, it doesn't sound strange. No.
Okay, but
it's very subtle. I know.
Yeah, it's almost like more about how you do it than what. Like, because the girls that slept with me the first night, a second night, I didn't think of them as hoes because of how they.
It's about their attitude.
Yeah. They weren't.
Attitude towards it. It's like, are you having sex because you want to have sex and you're attracted to this person, or are you doing it because there's an objective behind it? You know, like, are you doing it because you want to feel like you've made him happy, or you feel like he has expectations of you that you're trying to fulfill, or are you doing it because you're truly attracted to this person and it's what you want to do? So it makes a difference in how the woman acts and, you know, presents herself. It's a totally different energy.
I think it's way more subtle than that for guys. Like, you're watching every move she makes, like every like piece of clothing that partly comes off or whatever. You're watching if this is exciting for her.
Right.
So if it's like business, like if it's like this has happened a million times and it's just for some purpose,
right,
then you feel like she has less value. Whereas if she's looking at you and her face is flushing and you feel that vibe, then it feels then it doesn't feel. Yeah. But if it's just like it's kind of like asking how much money you make or whatever. She's just you know that you're weak as a man when you have sex. So a lot of girls some girls will just have sex with you right away just because they know, okay, now I got him in my back pocket. If I need him, he's there. Yeah. If I need something done or whatever, that guy's there. That's like a real turn off for me. But for me, I think when a girl is like, I had a rule: if a girl didn't sleep on the first date, I wouldn't see her again.
Really?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm like that too.
Yeah, because if it's going to be games, then I don't know how long the games are going to go on.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
if you like me, you like me. If you like me, you're going to have sex with me.
Right. Yeah, because women know right away if they like a guy. Yeah. And so it's like if it's but I can be caught by the girl who waits even though I hate it. Yeah. That happens too once in a while. Where the girl will stop and I'm just like, fuck this girl. And I'll decide not to see her again. And then I will. And then second time she does it again.
But
and then I see her third time and then it happens. But it's kind of like, it's using up some kind of points or something. Like although it does work in some level, it kind of does work. But for some girls, but at the same time, it's burning up points. And basically, she's like, usually there's 3 psychs for being out. Now she's got 1, because it's like really like, at some level, you're being fucked with. Yeah, and nobody likes to be fucked with.
Yeah, but you know what? Okay, so sometimes I totally get what you're saying. It's almost like so for me, it's when the girl lets me know some type of way that I'm not going to fuck you right now, but I am going to fuck you. It's just, I'm just not trying to do it right now. It's like, I don't want to feel a certain type of way about myself, but I feel the energy. I would just give me like a couple of days, a week. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to be that, but I'm feeling you. You know what I mean? But it's almost like when I feel like they're trying to leverage me some type of way with the sex, it's almost like, okay, you're not gonna like give me no head or like jack me off. We're not gonna do nothing. We're not gonna kiss or nothing. We're not gonna, like, as long as I feel like we're being intimate, it's like it's okay for me.
Then it's okay, right.
You know what I'm saying? But if it's like I'm not getting nothing, you ain't.
There's this thing between like women, this bit of advice that we give each other. It's like,
of course, yeah.
If you like if you like him, don't sleep with him right away. Right. And that's right. Kind of the way we think. Like, if you like him, you want to like hold off on sex, make sure that he respects you first before you do that, so that you know that it's not all about sex. So it's kind of, because it is true. Women know immediately if they want to sleep with you. It's like,
that's the thing. Yeah, I know that.
We know it. So, but I could hang out with you, and even though I may want to have sex with you, it may not be like that strong energy right away that I'm like, man, I gotta fuck this guy right now. You know what I mean? Like,
of course not.
I could hang out with you would if the right circumstances were to occur. And we were like getting hot and heavy then.
And nothing changed.
Yeah.
Because it can still change.
Yeah. But if we're just on a first date and I'm like, man, I would definitely have sex with this guy, but the circumstances don't line up right, then at the end, even though I am sexually attracted to you, it just may feel uncomfortable going there. So it may be like, the next time maybe we'll hook up or whatever. But it just has to be a really intense sexual connection to just like have sex on that initial date, in my opinion. Like, otherwise it just feels forced, even though you may be attracted to him. But there just has to be that spark that really, maybe, there's a subtle touch or you like make out and it just gets more and more intense. But, just because you're attracted to them doesn't mean that you're always necessarily ready.
So attraction doesn't necessarily mean I want to fuck them.
Yeah, you may want to, but not right now. There's a difference, I think, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It gets to games pretty easy, you know. That's the thing, and I think I never try to get girls to have sex. I never do that. Like, I'm very happy not having sex. I'll just go find somebody. Like, I'm just gonna go move on. I don't chase girls or like that kind of thing. Yeah. But if I feel that she really wants me to chase her that first night, and that will make her feel like she's not being a slut, then I will do that. Then I will like take her in the bathroom. I'll try to do it in the kitchen. I'll spin her around in the garage or whatever it is that makes her mind think, oh, time has passed. Yeah. Now it's okay. You know, like then I'll do that. I'll try that kind of thing.
The room, right?
Yeah, you got to like. Sometimes this corner's no good, right? You got to get over. You got to try some other corner. So
for sure, No, I definitely agree with that. But it's horrible because we were talking about earlier societal pressures, you know, and just like these standards that have been, you know, set for us and things that we're supposed to do. And it just kind of restricts us in a lot of ways. And I think that if we were living in a matriarchal society where women and their desires were put first, then I think women would be much more open about their sexuality and what they want, their needs and their desires, instead of like playing these quote unquote games and trying to.
This is all bullshit. No way. Seriously. I've been to matriarchal society. There's one in Sumatra, Indonesia. Yeah. And I've been there. Yeah. And they have men come in and build all their houses. There's like a neighboring village of guys, right? This is matriarchal in this place. And the guys come in and do all the work, basically. Right. And then they go away. Like, it's like, it's not matriarchal. They're totally dependent. It's just like, in this group, they take care of the babies, they make decisions, but the guys still do all the fucking work.
But we mean like.
So I don't know what matriarchal would be. I mean, we both need each other. We both need each other. Like
you do, but I'm saying like. As far as
like, I'm not saying I want to. I don't.
It just. I think women would be empowered in a different way if we were taught that, you know, our happiness and our desires were more important. You know what I mean? Like,
but see, that's the whole thing about being a woman. That's the hard part about being a woman, is that it's like, if you look at animals, if you watch animals mate, they do really complicated mating rituals, like really complicated. Like I forgot the bird name, but there's one bird where the bird does something to show she's interested or whatever. Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, but then the male bird will come in and make a nest, and then she will take the nest and stamp it, drop it on the ground, and ruin it, right? And then he'll go make another nest, and then eventually, when the nest is right is right, then they'll have sex. Like, it's really long and complicated. They all do it every single time, and it's like this big thing with the male birds making a nest. So, I think a lot of this stuff is very ingrained in us as men and women. So, but I think it's dangerous to speculate on what it would be like if that. I think we have our roles, we have our things. And women have their. I understand it's very difficult to be a woman, like, in a sense that I one thing, I have a lot of sympathy for women because I've been with a lot of women, and I can see their sadness or whatever. You know what I mean? Because like, they'll tell me what's going on or something, and they're just sitting there waiting, right, for something to happen. I'm like, I don't do that. Like, I don't wait. They're just waiting for something like to happen. Like, girls do a lot more waiting than guys. Like, they're like waiting for stuff. They're always waiting. Like, this is my impression. Like, girls, they tell me what they're doing. I'm like, you're sitting around waiting. Whereas a guy will just go and get. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say all guys don't go and get. That's the fucking thing we started talking about earlier. This is not true with a lot of guys, but I think in general, like for myself especially, I just if I want something, I'm gonna go and find a way to get it. Yeah. You know, whereas I see girls like sitting on the outside of the party waiting for someone to come talk to them. Right. You know, and it's like they're just waiting, that's what she's saying, or waiting by the beach or whatever.
So are you saying that?
She's saying the impossible. This is not going to happen.
But women, what she's saying is women. Are you saying that women can't go get? That's not okay. Or are you saying that it's not, women not built, they're not built like that?
I think what I'm saying is that kind of like what you were saying earlier about if a woman has slept with a lot of men, her value to you at times has been.
Well, I'm just talking about if I think that when I first see her.
Right, but I'm
It's like
just
if
saying.
I actually get to know her, then it changes.
Then it's different.
I'm
But
talking about the first
But
impressions.
we never think that about men. Like, we never wonder how many women you've slept with, or if we find out you've been with 100 women, we're never like, oh my God, this guy. Like, why would I marry a guy that's been with that many women? It
Yes,
never.
you do. Yes, you do.
Rarely.
Yes, you do.
Rarely.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well,
I
there's
mean,
not that many guys, too, you know. Like,
exactly.
not a
It's just
common
like.
thing. But
If a woman has been with a bunch of guys, it's like, you've been, I mean, with this many men, it's like, it's just different for women. It's it's hard for us to go out and just follow our natural impulses. It's becoming easier because I think that society is becoming more accepting of women and their sexuality, but just for a woman to go out and say, oh, I've slept with 50 men, they'll be like, oh, there'll be like some shaming.
50, like talk 500 to 1,000. Let's get real.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Let's talk real.
there'll be some
50
shaming
would be lying her ass off.
on that.
Come on. Let's talk the truth.
Wait.
You know,
No, I think
500 to 1,000.
and it's like 50, like if someone, I would have some like,
not talking about- I'm talking
50?
in general, yeah.
Like that'll be,
In
I
general.
mean, I guess she had fun. That would be nice, but
A girl could do that in 1 year.
I guess
Her first year of college. Easy. Yeah.
possibly, but I don't know. I mean, I feel a little deprived that maybe I haven't experienced that. You know what I mean? It's just like a lot of lags between lovers because you're always looking for that one. Or, you know what I mean? Like you said, there's a lot of waiting going on instead of just going out and experiencing things and just taking it as an experience, whether it's going to be long-term or momentary. Just taking that experience and living it and moving on, as opposed to thinking that every encounter is potentially your life mate. You know what I mean? Because we're raised to think that we're supposed to find a man, marry, have kids, have a family, as opposed to just going out and exploring what it is that makes you happy. You know?
I think we're basically taught the same thing. I mean, men are kind of taught the same thing. I mean, by our families. Like, did your dad say, "Oh, son, fuck hundreds of women, have fun, No, man. What did he really tell you? Like, seriously, let's question this thing from a guy's perspective, because my dad didn't. My dad, if I brought home a woman, any woman, he was always like, she's good, she's good. You should stick with this one. He was always like that.
But
And my mom was too. My mom was less, actually. My dad wasn't more.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's implied almost, right? Like, I mean, you don't have to explicitly say, go out and have sex with a bunch of women and then settle
I'm
down.
talking about
But
implied too.
yeah,
No,
well, you don't think
they know
okay.
to guys that most parents don't do that. I don't know, like I actually only know a couple guys whose dads were like this. I have one guy I know a couple guys whose dad, he was a virgin, and his dad said, let's go to a whorehouse and get you started right, and then he took him to a whorehouse. That happened. A couple guys I know, and he said, son, have fun. Women are not serious. Just have a good time. Someday you might get serious, but for now, go fuck some women. Go talk to that woman right now. Take her in the closet. Then I never heard this advice in my life from any father at all. Like, I think you women are dreaming about this one. Is that you're taught this way and we're taught. I mean, really, I don't know what I was taught. I think it was even worse for guys because you get taught that you don't want to you're not supposed to break a woman's heart. So, like, basically, her feelings matter more than yours. Like, you break her heart and then you're a bad guy. Well, what about your feelings? You might not like her or whatever, You might find that she's not your type, but you might break her heart, right? That's kind of what we're taught. It's like we're supposed to, like, make her happy, don't break her heart,
But I think don't break her heart is more about just being honest with her and not leading her on and making her believe one thing and then
it's how
acting.
she feels. It's her heart. It's
Right.
not even about anything real. It's just like, if she's heartbroken in the end, no matter what you said, you're wrong.
But
as a
you're
guy.
less likely
You're
to
fucked.
break her heart if you're more honest about how you feel. I think there are a lot of men who like to manipulate the way women feel. Like they like to feel like the object of their desire and to be loved and adored by them, but they don't really want that like long-term commitment, so they end up leaving, and then it's like that's when they're brokenhearted, when they've like made this commitment in a way, but then knowing that they really didn't want to commit to that person in any real way. So I think that's where the heartbreak.
Oh, because the guy didn't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but okay. Let's look at this one. Okay, now this is another way to look at it, and I'm not saying but there is a type of woman who, like, you go to the slot machine, right, and you put in money, and you're trying to get a payout, right? Yeah. There's women who definitely will say they're putting the time with a guy, and make him cakes or whatever the fuck, knit a sweater or whatever it is she thinks is gonna get the guy. But in a sense, it's kind of investing, and then when it falls apart, is her heart broken, or did she invest in the wrong stock? Like, that happens. Like, I know for sure. I feel like that with some women. As soon as I meet them, they're just like doing everything for me, and I don't like that because I just don't like it. It's happened a lot, and I don't need it. Like, I don't need anybody to make anything. I can cook food. I can travel. I'm healthy. I can do my own stuff. I literally don't need a woman to do anything. In fact, I don't even want a woman to do anything. To clean any clothes, to clean my place, to wash my car. Like, really nothing. The only thing I would want is some kind of emotional connection with that woman. That means a lot. Yeah. Because I used to have stuff. I would let women do stuff. And then I realized that some women would complain afterwards. Like, I didn't even ask them to do it, and they would do stuff. So I made a rules: no fucking fixing my house, no cleaning, no fucking. I don't want any of that. Like, don't try to get me on that. Yeah. Like, you want to be with me, you're with me. That's it. Because I felt that too many times. Yeah. It's like they're investing in you, but they don't really. They're just trying to get married or something.
Yeah, it's almost like a audition. Almost like, look how well I could cook for you, and how I could keep your house clean, and I'd be a good wife if this works out. So
it's not them. The reason why it doesn't feel good to a guy, it's the same reason. I tell you, men and women have a lot in common. Okay, this is the thing people don't realize, is when a guy wants a woman just for sex, right? Then it's the same kind of feeling. It's the exact same feeling guys have. Especially if the guy has something. If the guy's got money, he's got a big cock, whatever. He feels like the woman just wants that. And it's like, it's not a good feeling, actually. Yeah. It seems like it would be, but it actually isn't, because you feel like, it's like, what am I, like, do I have any value?
Right.
It sounds great, but it actually feels terrible.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about a man not feeling, I don't know. I guess that's weird, because I didn't think about how men feel about if a woman were to say, like, hey, I just want to sleep with you, I don't want anything else. And like, how they would feel like not valued because of that. Yeah, I've never.
I felt that way for a long time.
Okay, let's hear this.
Yeah, so when I was in the entertainment business, I thought all the girls liked me, and they really just wanted to sleep with me. Oh. And so, imagine I'm going in trying to have a relationship, and it's like, now they don't articulate that, but it's really like, man, I got my boyfriend. You just fun tonight. I don't really, and then I'm hitting them up, and it's like, why you calling? Like, we, and in their mind, they're thinking, you're the fun guy. Yeah. This is all you wanted anyway. Yeah. And this went on for like years and years and years, to the point where it's like, that's why my mind is kind of weird now, because it's like, okay, am I only good for fucking? You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants me, and that's really how I think, where it's just, I'm just
an object,
a dildo, really. You know what I'm saying? And because they look at me and what I do, this is what I would say. My friend told me one time, she said, you're the equivalent of what a stripper is to a guy. So the way a guy thinks about a stripper, she's an object. So you never think about, is the stripper, I wonder how she feels. You bust it up and get naked, get butt naked and slide down the pole. You're not really empathetic, because you're paying her to do something. She's doing something, and you don't really have any emotional investment. She's an object. And when I was in the entertainment business, I saw the same psychology of like, you're just this type of person. And it was almost like they rationalized it by saying, you don't care. This is what you want. This is what all guys want. All guys just want to fuck. And so I'm just going to do what I want to do, which is fuck you. And I can justify the way that I feel fucking you by telling myself that that's all you want to do because you're that type of guy. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, no, I actually wanted, I like you. You know what I'm saying? And call me back. Let's go out. Let's hang out. Let's go on. Like, girls don't go on dates with me. Girls don't pressure me for relationships. Girls don't. That when I be listening to stuff, it's weird because girls don't talk to me about getting married, and that don't happen to me. It's just, we never have those conversations. It's kind of like we hanging out. It's fun. It's almost like they know that this is not that. Does that make sense?
Oh, dude, totally. In fact, I had girls like where they wouldn't see me for like 3 weeks, and they would come, and then this happened more than once, and then I'd say, they would say to me like, "Do you wonder why I didn't see you for a few weeks or whatever?" And I was like, yeah, and then like, well, I got pregnant, but I knew you didn't want a baby, so I had an abortion. And it's like, well, I was like, what the fuck? Like, because the thing is she did it like she really liked me, right? And so she was so sure she knew me, right, that I was going to be happy that I wouldn't have a commitment. She thought, right? But actually, I would never do an abortion. Like I'm like rolling the dice with every girl because I don't like condoms, and if anybody that has a baby, I'm going to be with that. Yeah. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like at some level, I'm going to be there. So that's what I always decided when I was young.
But they never assumed that you thought that.
They never assumed that because you're a fun guy or whatever. And then they just like, kill your kid basically. Yeah. And then they come to you like, oh, hey, I'm helping you out. Because they really think that, because they really believe it, right?
Yeah.
But it really is not true because to me, like killing a kid is a terrible idea. It's the worst thing you can do. Like you kill somebody in a bar is nothing. Yeah. There's some asshole in a bar. Who cares, Yeah. But some kid, like they're fucking innocent, right? Yeah. Especially your kid, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not into that. But a lot of people wouldn't never guess that when they meet me.
Yeah.
And the girls don't. But there's no way I can explain my whole self the first night, right? There's no way they're gonna get it, right? Yeah. And it depends on how smart they are too, how fast they gonna figure you out, right?
Now, did you hear? Now you said that you've never thought about a guy's feelings.
No, well, I found it interesting that you said you've met all these women that used you in that way, because my idea is just like most women are. I know that all women aren't looking for relationships, but I don't think of most women like using men in that way.
But he was the entertainer. He was the events business, clubs, and isn't that so they want to fuck the club guy,
right? So it gave them.
Also, I feel like it was more of me as a caricature,
right?
Than it was me as a. It was more of what I did, than it was me per se. It took a long time for me to like understand this, because in the middle of it, I'm not quite understanding what was going on. Kind of like I always wanted to fuck a rapper. Okay, right? So let's say you always wanted to fuck a famous rapper and you run into a rapper. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like bucket list accomplished. You know what I mean? Like, so I found that I was fitting a archetype, and that whoever had that certain type of archetypical mindset, I was just in the right place at the right time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. It's even, I was just thinking it's even more complicated than that. Because I was watching this interview with this girl, and she was black, and she said, I never will date a white guy who likes black women. Because she felt like that was somebody who was like that. Because like they wanted like somebody who had a fetish, or she thought it was a fetish. But the thing is, I think the word fetish is bullshit. Yeah. Like, a man's desire is one of the purest things on the planet, in my opinion. I really think that. A man's sexual desire is one thing you should never fuck with. Whatever it is that gets you off, it is the one thing you cannot lie about. It is so pure. Like, it's the one thing. You can lie about anything else except that. Because you got a penis. You can't lie. Yeah, there's no way to fucking lie. And so, you can lie once, one night, right? Even like a gay guy can get a woman pregnant, right? But not long term.
Right.
It's going to end up being a very sexless relationship, right? If that person's not your type. So I think, in some sense, I think that if I want to fuck a girl the first date, right away, that is the closest thing to being a good wife there is. Because I really want to be with her. Like, I just want to, I see her and I just feel like she needs to be pounded into the mattress. Like, it just has to be done. Like, there is a robotic voice coming in my head. It must go down. And I want to smell. I want to, and everything, and it's like, and the thing is that is something that doesn't go away over time in a sense, because it's very real.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen with every girl.
No.
It's just only certain girls. And then kind of just, it keeps going because they're your type. So I think anytime, like, this is what I don't like about politically correct shit, is they're trying to fuck with that. They're saying, well, you shouldn't like this. You should like that. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't like skinny women, or you shouldn't like this or whatever. This is what the only thing, he's got to do this. If he doesn't follow that, he's going to have a miserable life. And all the women he's with will be miserable. Yeah. Because every woman is the saddest thing when a woman is not wanted in a relationship. Yeah. When a man's not wanted, it's sad, but somehow guys can deal with it a little bit better than women. For women, it's really sad. It's like very miserable and cold.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess I've always had the idea, and I'm kind of realizing that I have a lot of stereotypes about men and how they behave sexually. But I've always had the idea that basically men can fuck anything. You know what I mean? Like, wow. It's just like if you're given the opportunity, and if you were with a girl.
Those guys liked you. Those guys that wanted to. Basically. I mean, not completely. I mean, it's complicated because a gay guy can make a baby, right? Yeah. So it is complicated. It's not black and white. It's not clear, plus and minus in a computer hard drive. But still, I know right away if I like this girl. Like, there's just something in me. I could almost walk down to Walmart and decide who to marry. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's almost like that. Like, it would be good enough. It would be fine. Yeah. Not that I don't want to get married, by the way, guys. Don't worry. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's, so anyway.
Yeah, but I've always thought, like, men who were, like, really aggressive, and I'm just like, this guy will just fuck anything walking.
You should ask more questions. You should say, is this, like, find out. Like, you got to be tricky.
But then I wouldn't even trust their answer because.
No, but if you do it tricky.
Okay. How do you ask those questions?
I don't know, but you got to think about it. There's a way to do it. There's a way to separate. There's a way to separate.
Has anyone ever successfully, like, questioned you in that way to find out, like, if your motives were true or if you were just trying to have sex?
I had a girl. Actually, she listens to Ronin, man. But she's very pretty. She's got a great accent, British accent, and we were friends, for a long time. And then finally, I was so clueless with her. For some reason, I just wasn't. I wasn't into white girls. Like, I didn't date white girls for like 30 years. So anyway, she's a white girl, right? So one day we're in her house, and then she said, I came to Japan. She lived there, and she said, come stay at my house. You can stay at my house. So I came. She made dinner. The place was perfect, nice smells and everything. And then I realized she sat next to me, and all of a sudden I realized, damn, like, something's gonna happen here. And the next thing, we were totally naked, and we were just about to do it. And then she said, "Are you sure you want to do it?" And I looked at her and I said, no. And we did. We never did it. And because I thought about it. I was definitely ready to go. But I knew that if we went down that road, it wasn't going to be necessarily good for us. But then we did do some pretty hot phone sex like a couple years later, which was funny because I don't do phone sex. And this was pretty hot. Like, I was just walking down the street and I was like, thinking, fuck, people were like listening. I'm like, this is pretty fucking hot. And then, it's funny, the same girl. So I don't know, maybe there was something. There definitely were good friends, right?
Yeah.
But I stopped because I just felt like, no, it's probably better if we don't. Yeah. So
in that case, was your attraction not strong enough though? Do you just think you didn't have that, like, carnal instinct to just
At the time, I didn't think I could fuck a white girl a long time.
okay.
I thought I was going to lose interest, you know.
Okay.
I just didn't think I was going to see her as a dirty slut. Like, I got to see a girl as a dirty whore.
Yeah.
In order to keep the fire burning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It has to be, she has to be my, you know, it has to be there.
Yeah.
That feeling has to be there. She can't just be a girl walking down the street.
So you
And
never,
so, and then I had that feeling with the white girl after that.
Okay.
Just which really surprised me, and it was really strong feeling, and I was like, I can't believe it. Like I was totally even my friends were like, "Are you okay? Checking my temperature.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? You know." But it was like, yeah, it just came back all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, have you not ever grown into? Because I find myself now being aroused by, stimulated more by, I don't want to say mentally, but more by like vibe. You know what I mean? Like, now it's more about my comfort level. It's more about my.
That's because you're smart.
It's like now it's more. I'm thinking more deeper than just fucking you, because so much can go wrong if I follow my dick. You know what I mean? Where it's just like.
Oh, I thought you were talking about beauty.
No. Well, beauty. It's okay. So, how can I say this? It's so much at stake for me now. If I just, and maybe this is an American thing, you know, I don't know, you know what I mean, but
I don't think so.
Okay, for sure. Okay, so I feel like if I just fuck a girl and she crazy or some shit like that, now I have got this crazy chick and she is calling me or showing up at my house or doing some shit that's distracting me from some other shit. So now I find that, like I was telling you the last time, you know what I mean? So much of that trauma, now I'm kind of like watching, okay, what's the vibe? Okay, is she cool? Is she this? Is she that? And then after I have sex with her for a while, it gets like better. You know, it's almost like sex with me gets better as I have sex with you, more so than everything's all in that like one time. If that makes any sense. But then on the flip side of it, it's some girls that I'm really like feeling. It's like a vibe, like right off the gate. And it's just like, we might spend the day together and then it's really good. I don't know, I guess I just gotta like fill it out. You know what I mean? I don't know if what I'm trying to say, but you know, I guess it's just, I don't always have that burning desire in the beginning, but I have. Damn, no, man, I can't say that. The girls I wanted to fuck, I pretty much wanted to fuck them real bad. Pretty soon.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Okay, but man,
Like how soon? How soon?
Probably some hours. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. After you talk to me. Right. And I catch that feel, you look good, okay?
Yeah.
But then once I'm physically attracted to you, and then what you got to talk me into. I think what I'm saying is that after a while, being just pretty isn't enough for me. Like, you have to have some type of personality that pulls me in addition to like me physically wanting to fuck you.
Right.
Because I've been with a lot of like pretty women. And that they were pretty and their pussy wasn't good, or they were pretty and that shit's surreal. Like all pretty girls, pussy ain't. Different. Pussy's different. Yeah. It's really different. Like so, now I don't even really look at a pretty girl and it's like, oh man, I'm really into her, because I'm like, gosh, your pussy might be whack, your attitude might be bad. So it's like at least she's got a good vibe. She got good energy. She's cool. And that's when I get into it. And she fine. You know what I mean? Or she don't even got to all the way be like super fine. She could just have good vibe, got good energy, and she's sexy. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. There's sexy. There's pretty. You know what I mean? Like, so if she's sexy, I like a sexy girl more than I like a pretty girl.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Okay, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know why this popped up, but it's like this one time, this girl, she came to my house and she found a hair on the ground, right? That wasn't hers. And she just got back from vacation. And so then I liked her. I just liked this girl, you know? And then so she like, all of a sudden she got very, I don't know what, she was young, right? And she got very, what do you call it? Like she put her headphones on and she's just sitting there listening to headphones. Like she, you know, of course we're always talking, but she had her headphones on. And then she's just sitting there blasting the headphones in the house. And then I thought, well, what should I do here? So then I thought, I'm just going to try to fuck her, right? So I did. And then she just sat there like a lifeless doll and just sitting there, but she didn't stop me, right? And so she just like sat there. And then it ended up being like one of the hottest sessions ever. Like it was just incredibly hot because he was just like trying to ignore me and just sitting there and pissed off with the headphones on.
Yeah.
And so she was just like not doing anything. But then it went on and then I don't know. Like I guess it was such a slow warm up.
Yeah.
Or maybe the anger was there, and there was something that broke through it.
It's just like
It took forever, but
like emotions.
Yeah.
It's like this weird.
Dude, it was fucking hot. It was fucking hot. It was like a mannequin for a while, and then, but it was like this mannequin that's alive, that's pretending like they're a mannequin, like but they're not.
Yeah.
And then she wants, but she's like something in her brain is like I can't do this so easily with this guy this time, or I can't give him that, and then it ends up giving me more.
Yeah.
Because in the end we just fucked the anger out, both of us.
Yeah.
And it ended up we were just totally happy. Yeah. You know, she never mentioned it again.
What's your perspective on like, you know, we just
Well, there have been, I don't think there's been a lot of times where, and I feel deprived because I don't normally act on like first date, have sex with a guy. And there have been a couple times where I was like really into somebody and I was like, really like you feel that attraction, that pull, you know, and that doesn't happen all the time. And I think that's what makes good sex or what makes great sex, when you have that really strong pull towards each other and you're just really into it and you just really can't keep your hands off each other. But I felt that maybe a couple times in my life with a guy, hanging out with a guy, and didn't act on it for whatever reason, you know, just feeling like it wasn't the right time. And I just feel like I like cheated myself. Like being older now, I would be more likely to just do it because I don't really get, you know, I don't care what anyone thinks about me, or, you know, I don't feel like I have to like fulfill any obligations to anyone else. I've become more almost self-centered. It's like I recognize what I want and what I need, and I'm more willing to just go for that as opposed to, you know, trying to hold back because of appearances. So I definitely feel like I should have acted differently in the past, and I just wish
what
that.
What stops you from being like that now, just going out? You like, because they say if girls don't do something at a certain age, then like later on you just go through your whole phase, the whole phase.
Well,
later.
Well, I mean, you know, as they say, sex for women normally gets better as you get older, and I think it's because as we get older, we start to.
Do they say that? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's because we just start to focus
like what
more
age are we talking
on.
about?
I would say 30, like, you know, mid 30s and up, because you just really start to focus on what you need. You know what you need, first of all. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. You know what you want them to do.
You can cut things off.
Yeah, and you're better able to communicate that to your partner as opposed to just hoping he'll figure it out. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I've had a lot of, like, orgasmless sex in my life. You know what I mean? I've faked a lot of orgasms in my life just because I felt like that's what.
Too. I faked an orgasm.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
No, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I didn't.
I didn't think
like
men
once or
faked
twice.
orgasms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't come, but I pretended like I did.
Wow.
Girls never check.
You
know?
just wanted to get it over with.
I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
It was like, it was kind of it wasn't.
I didn't want the girl to feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want her to feel bad. Right?
Yeah.
And that's how we feel about men most of the time. Like, I didn't have an orgasm until I was like 25 25 or some shit like that. Like I was faking orgasms for most of my.
Sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think we got to go back to that. But I was just thinking as you're talking, like with that guy that you felt like the two guys, if you could go back, you would do it. If you could go back, I think the thing it's communication is what it is, right?
Sure.
Because if the guy knows that, like, in a sense, like he's the one, in a way, like in your life, there's only, this is what's hard to understand in the moment is that, because you're just living your life, right? And you think, well, it's another day. But then there's experiences that you never forget. But in that moment, it's really hard to accept, I just had an experience that I'll never forget, that this is the one experience or whatever. I think part of it is being able to communicate that to somebody.
Yeah.
Well, for example, if she could somehow communicate to the guy, let's say she could go back in time, and she could say, let's say she can go back in time and tell the guy. I was sitting there talking to my friends, over at Sean's house, and I was this age. Now I'm back in time, and like I see you, and I realize like I didn't let you know, like I wanted to fuck you, like I think you're really hot, like it's you. It's not just I want to fuck. I want to fuck you.
Yeah.
Like this is not just some. I like right now. This is special because I think a lot of times we don't know. Like, okay, here's a big thing. A lot of guys don't know this, but when a girl does a lot of stuff with a guy, the guy thinks she does it with everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned from experience is that I'll meet girls and they will say, I'll start asking about themselves, years later, right? And they'll say, like, basically that was a one-off or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they actually lived a totally different life, and it's like really hard to.
Yeah, I mean,
in the moment you feel as a guy like she's going to do it with anybody because she wants to do everything, like so quick. Yeah. But I've learned to look through that and to see the girl for what she's really feeling in the moment, because sometimes you don't know what you're feeling,
right?
But the other person might, if they're older especially, they might say, this could actually be one of those things, right? Yeah. I'm not saying fantasy. I'm not saying like getting married. I'm just saying like you're smart, and you've had two guys where they were different. Those nights were different.
Yeah.
Those were special.
Yeah.
And you wish you could have jumped in the water.
Right. Yeah.
Right. You should have jumped in the water.
I should have. Yeah.
I was gonna say. So for you, is that what it's like? Do you feel like you have those moments where there are people that you would, I don't want to say uncharacteristically something else, you know what I'm saying? Or
I think that there were moments like the missed opportunities where maybe I didn't act on it because I thought that, if I did what I wanted to do to him, then what would he think of me? Like, would he think that was something that
that's why
I did all the time?
No, but that's why you have to communicate.
Yeah, communication is key.
Somehow.
So, I mean, and I think it's one of the benefits of getting older and just being able to be honest about how you feel and what you're thinking and not feeling embarrassed about it and just being truthful about it. So, if I were in that, I would like to think that if I were in that situation now, I would be able to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I want, and be able to just experience life. I think
even if you just said it,
Yeah.
even if you just said it, it's good.
Yeah.
I was talking to a group of girls once, and we were talking about something, and the one girl just looks at me. She goes, "I'm so wet," and her friends all looked at her like, "What the fuck are you saying?" And she's like, "I am," and I'm like, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Nothing happened, but I thought it was so cool. I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's like so honest. You never hear that.
Yeah. And her friends were probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But she was like totally cool with it. She was like confident. In that moment she was.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think that, it would be a wonderful thing if more women were able to just speak about their sexuality with confidence.
Yeah, but guys, the thing is, it's the same with guys. For us, it's more like approaching a girl.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. You see a girl, you should approach her. She's looking at you, and you don't.
Yeah.
You know, I just had this when I was just before the tour started. I was back in my hometown, and we walked down to the pier, and then we were like, it started raining, so we're standing under this little awning, and it's like COVID starting, and so the coffee shop was closed. People were standing out front, and this girl came, and she was Indian, and because I was in India, and I looked at her right away. I said, "That is a fucking good girl." Like to me, she was smoking sexy. I mean, it was all hidden, but it was sexy. She was like, I was like, I like that. And then she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I was like, that look is not normal. And then I'm like, wait, something's going on here. This girl is the kind of girl who, she was dressed very well too, and she just kept looking at me. She looked at me like, I don't even know how many times. It was a ridiculous amount of times. Yeah. Like, she would just keep doing it. Like, her friends were there, and she would just keep looking. And I was with my friend, and I'm thinking, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like, I don't like personally, I don't like to just have sex once. If I get a girl, if I like her, I want to do it more. Yeah. I want to do something more. Yeah. Yeah. I always feel like kind of bummed out if I just one time. Yeah. Yeah. Not looking back, I'm happy I did one times too. Yeah. But in the moment, I want it more, and I'll turn it down, stubbornly turn it down. Yeah. But like the girl, she wanted me to talk to her so bad. And when I swear to God, when I got into the car, it was really weird. This doesn't happen very often. Like, this is real. Like, she was really looking. I know women. She was really looking at me like, please come over. And she must have just broken up with somebody or something was going on. Yeah. And then I got in the car, and the look on her face was so sad. Yeah. I was like, oh, my God, fuck. Because you start to think you're kidding yourself.
Yeah.
You think, this, like, girl could not be. Yeah. And then I got in the car. When I saw her face, I felt so sad. Like, I almost cried. I was so sad. Like, she was bummed, dude.
Seriously.
So what is that like?
That happened. Well, that happened to me one day in New York on the train going to Jersey, and I got on the train, and it's not very often that you see somebody in a crowd and you there's like this immediate attraction, like you lock eyes and you know that there's something, but you may not like immediately act on it. But I got on the train. There's this cute guy standing like right at the entrance, and we looked at each other, and we kind of like held each other's gaze as I was walking to my seat. And I looked at my girlfriend, I'm like, man, that guy's really cute. And she's like, who? And then we looked back, and he was still looking at me, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just glanced back a couple times while the train was going, and I said, well, at the next stop, it was a crowded train, I said, at the next stop when we get off, I'm going to, say something to him before I get off the train. And of course, when we finally stopped and I went to get back, he had gotten off at the stop before. So I was just like heartbroken. And this was back during like when Craigslist was big. And I was just like, oh my God, maybe we could do like one of those missed opportunity posts, I'm like, I got to find this guy. But I still think about that. Like, God.
So that doesn't happen a lot of times when you.
I don't think that it's not often that you see somebody in a crowd and you just immediately have a connection. She's the only one I can think of, really. Right? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, he's probably the only guy that I can think. And I don't know if it's because we didn't follow through on it, that it's not. It's more significant because it feels like a missed opportunity. Maybe that's part of it, but there was definitely chemistry immediately, and you could just feel it. You just know when that happens.
So for a woman, my assumption is that so there's women. I mean, there are men trying to talk to you all the time. So you have more volume, like, right? So I guess I would be thinking that because you got so much volume, you got so many more options.
Yeah.
And that you have so many more opportunities to do so many more things. So what is it that like keeps you hesitant from like exploring more, doing more, or why? I guess why wouldn't you have more opportunities when more guys are? What is your perspective of guys?
It's not necessarily about the opportunity. It's about the connection that you feel, because I think because men are, it's kind of their role to approach women. It's not often that women approach men. But because we're normally, like you said, waiting for the guy to approach us, there are like typically more guys will come up to us, and a lot of times we're not interested, but
Why?
it's not. I mean, you may just not be physically attracted to them, or they're just something that doesn't strike you as someone that you want to be with. But there are those very rare occasions where there's actually like a real spark, I feel, and it just is heartbreaking when you don't actually act on and follow through with
love
them.
has to be tragic or it's not love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he would have talked to
What do
you,
you mean when you say that? What
he
do
would
you
just be another ex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, okay, well, y'all got to unpack that.
Well, that's every love story ends in tragedy.
yeah, it's, if he'd have actually like talked to the Indian woman and like they'd be like
No, I think it would have been pretty good. I think it would have been pretty good. Yeah.
But then would it have felt that special? Like right now, it feels like a missed opportunity. Like you definitely felt a connection and you didn't follow through. And
No, I feel okay with that because I knew I was leaving.
Yeah.
So I don't want to change any. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to not come on the tour to be with her.
Right.
Like I just wouldn't do that. So I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like it's one of those ones.
Yeah.
Although I know exactly what you're talking about. But no, for this one, I feel like it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I felt bad when she looked so sad. I was just like, oh my God. Like, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, holy shit. Because you're afraid that you're reading her wrong.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, oh, it could be it's got to be me. And I thought,
that happens to me a lot. But so what happens to me a lot is I'm telling no, she's not that attracted to me, or it's not that, or you're not looking at me that way, or this isn't what, and it's like, duh, stupid, come talk to me. Like, why are you fucking not? I'm looking at what I gotta come and I'm not gonna talk to you. So you've gotta come and talk to me, type of thing. So I guess my question to you then is, what is the expectation of the men to you? Like, what are you expecting the men to do to get you to?
She can never answer this honestly because the thing is, it's too complicated. It's just too complicated because it totally depends on the guy and the situation. I think women at this level, don't know what they want. Like they really, like women really, they're waiting for someone to come and then it just is right. Okay. Like it just, women literally don't know. Like I think in some senses, guys don't know certain things about what makes the girl attractive. It's just that it just is, like it's like
there's just like a spark. There's a connection that happens, and I think that like you said, we don't know. Like I may have an idea of what an ideal man would look like, would act like, but then I'll meet someone that's totally opposite of that, and I just have a really strong connection with them. So I mean, I think
is it about more the vibe? Is it about more the timing? Is it just going back?
It's a combination. There's a combination of a lot of different things. It could be just like that time in my life, like what's going on in my life when this person comes around, and they may feel a void that needs to be filled at that time, but they wouldn't be my ideal partner in my head, but maybe they are. But I've created this checklist of things that I'm learning more and more that is unrealistic and maybe not even what I really need, just my idea of what I'm supposed to have. So I mean,
I don't know why the train situation made me think of this one that happened. Was on a crowded train, and it was really crowded, and like people packed in, and this very pretty girl like ended up right stacked against me, like very, very tight. That was extremely, I think there was like some kind of emergent accident or something where there's like more people, and then she was with her friend, so they were like a little triangle, like faced into each other, and then she was against me, and she was right against me, and it was so close, and I never saw her face. Like I just saw the back of her head, but the back of her head was so pretty, and her face was right against me. Her head was right against me, and then her body was right against me. And so I tried to move like it was really uncomfortable because it was really like, so I tried to move, but then when we were so tight that when I tried to move, it got worse because You know, because like just twisting it actually made it worse. Yeah. So I'm like, oh fuck! I was like, I can't, you know, and I couldn't stop. So I'm just sitting there, and she knew that I couldn't get out of it. Like it wasn't one of these. Like nobody was perfect. Like everybody was trying, and it was just like hopeless. Yeah. It was kind of like when you're soaking wet. Yeah. You just give up. You're just like, it's raining outside. It's fucking raining. You know, I lost my ticket. Okay, I lost my ticket. Okay, it's raining. It's raining. Yeah. This was like a sexual situation. It's like both of us are here. And this is like happening, and we both tried to get out of it, and there's like nothing. We're like forced into it, kind of thing. Yeah. And then it just got hotter and hotter, right? So like basically, what happens? I just got harder and harder, and it went right between her legs because I didn't have any underwear. So like went straight between her legs, and the train was moving.
Oh my god!
Yeah, the train was moving, right? So yeah, it like lifted up her skirt, it like went straight, and then I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, oh fuck, because I had these weird pants. I bought these European pants. It cost me like $600, some kind of weird material, you know. Yeah. So anyway, I was wearing those, and I was going to work, coming home from work, and it's just like it was just crazy. And then what made it worse was one of her hairs went in my nose. It just like popped into my nose, and it smelled so good. You know, and then it like tickled my nose or something, you know. Yeah. And I was just like, and I'm sitting there, and I could not see her face, and she was with her friends, and she was not giving away. She was not giving away what was happening. Yeah. And so then when I got to my stop, I finally had to get off. And so then I got off, and I got off, and like I looked at her, and it was the most erotic face I've ever seen. Like it was so erotic. Her face it was unbelievable. Wow. You know, because she was like both of us were victims of the situation. Yeah. And it was like it was so hot. Yeah. It was so fucking hot. Like it couldn't have been any hotter.
It's like a movie scene.
Yeah, nothing would have been. Even if we had sex right then in front of everybody, it wouldn't have been any hotter. Yeah. Like it was as hot as it could get. Yeah. Whatever the meter is, it was broke the meter. You know. And both of us felt it, you know. Yeah. And then I left, and it was like this feeling like wow. You know. Yeah, I was just like, I just got off the train, then the doors close and the train leaves. And you're just standing there by yourself. Yeah. Very depressing, you know.
So that brings me to my question, though. So that brings me to my question, back to where we started with. Because we started off with, what are the different archetypes of women? You know what I mean? And because we going into talking about creating this book. And then we were talking about like, so is it, there are no different types and this everything is just situational? You know what I mean? Is it, you know what I mean? Is it everything is all about, you see what I'm saying? Is everything all about what is going on in the moment? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, through your experience being a woman, because there are different types of men that I've definitely seen. You know, I've seen different types of guys. You know what I mean? Like, so as a woman, would you say that you've seen different types of women and they respond in different types of ways, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think like, and there are, I mean, we all have these like primal urges and instincts, right? Like a situation like that, I think no matter what type of person you are, unless you know, experience some kind of sexual trauma and this is actually like, you know, traumatizing to you in a way. But if you're like relatively healthy sexually and you're on a crowded train with a stranger and this is happening, like it can just be in a very erotic situation. Like he said, like it's like, wow, this is happening in a room full of people and no one knows it's happening, and it's just really it's just like it's just kind of hot. So I mean I think just things like that happen. It's all situational. I mean there may be women who live for that, who are constantly seeking things like that, you know. Not,
you know, in Japan there's girls who put up ads who will say like basically molest me on the train. I'm going to be wearing this red shirt. Standing in a certain place in the train. Yeah. It's 8:00 on this train. Yeah. Yeah, that happens. I this is like a strange part of Japan that. Yeah. But I've actually heard that's actually true. That's situation. Yeah. And I knew a girl who liked to get molested. Really? I knew two.
Yeah. I mean, two of them. It's everyone has their kinks,
they would
right?
come in and tell me.
Yeah.
You know, like I actually, this one girl I said, because she wore this super sexy dress and she was like very sexy. Yeah. And like just naturally. And then she had this pink tight one piece thing, super short. And I said, did anybody like, because it was a Friday night, right? Everybody's drunk. And she said, did anybody molest you? She goes, 2 guys. Yeah. One from the front and the back. I'm like, what the fuck? that we went at it like animals.
Yeah.
But she was actually, that was her thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she never said it.
Yeah.
But it was obvious.
Yeah, I think it depends on how in touch you are with your, like, what you want, what you need, what you like. And,
So would you say that you're not like, are you just getting to that point, or would you say that?
I would say, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of situation. It's definitely depending on the situation. I don't think that I'm out seeking that. But it's weird because when you're in a new environment, like when I went to Spain, you know, it's just like you're much more open to whatever might happen. Like home is like, no, I would never like sleep with anybody on the first date. But in Spain, I was like, oh, let's hang out and, you know, whatever happens, happens. Because there's, I guess the anonymity of it is kind of, or it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels very different. But I mean,
you don't
everyone's,
have the same type of societal rules, maybe.
I don't know if the rules are different. It's just my mindset about the rules. It's like I'm there and no one knows me, and it doesn't matter because I'm leaving. You know, it's kind of like, and I guess it doesn't. You don't have to be in Europe for that. You could be, you know, I could be in Mississippi and feel differently because I feel like this stranger in town that no one knows, and it doesn't matter.
So women are all about then the social pressure of their environment, maybe then.
Definitely. I think that definitely plays a big part in how we act and react.
I don't know, because guys get horny when they're on vacation, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I always feel, I feel more
yeah,
fresh.
yeah,
like,
Yeah. I mean, it feels like an adventure. It just kind of like...
You don't feel like she's going to hang around or that there's going to be a hangover from it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know...
Oh no, yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's
So
why
that
I'm
feels
interested because I'm thinking of it from how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm definitely. It's almost like so if let's say if I'm in Atlanta and I may go somewhere and I'm kind of like, oh man, you know, I don't know whether I want to. I'm kind of self-conscious about talking to somebody, but put me in. Let's say if I go to Tokyo, Japan or something, I'm at everybody. It's just what's up. It's almost like I feel like because I don't know what it is, for some reason rejection doesn't matter when I feel like I'm not gonna be here long or something, or I feel like
just trying your best.
It's probably realistic though, because you know it's not going to bother you. Like whereas if you hit on a neighbor here, you know, say you hit on a neighbor next door, and then they don't like you, you're going to see them again.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
In Tokyo or wherever, you know.
Yeah. So it's something about
Spain
not
or
being
whatever.
seen again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no archetypes for girls. You know me, like.
Definitely.
She hasn't given it up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to come around to it because you know we started out talking about. You know.
There definitely are. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone has, you know, their list of things that they want. But I think the primal instincts are all the same. Like we all just want to like feel good. You know what I mean? But in long-term situations, then what makes you feel good? Like the standards are different.
You still ain't giving us no archetype.
Well, I mean, you want specific ones. I mean, we talked about. No, you were just
give us a name and then give us a.
I talked about like a
You know what I'm saying?
I talked about like someone that's considered hypersexual or someone that's considered a prude or
Wait, no,
someone,
but this is considered. You're talking about they're considered by society. They're forced into
Well-
this box. And then the other sense, you're saying girls that actually do have a different type. You know, which one is it? Is it society or is it their own? You know.
I mean, I think they probably think of themselves that way because they've been labeled that way as well.
Oh, you have that as
know?
a presumption.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think people are what they are.
Like, if someone's really, like, not very sexual, I don't know if she would consider herself a prude. She probably would just say, I don't know, very conservative when it comes to sex. I don't know exactly how they would see themselves. Like, I would describe myself as, I don't know, actually. Because
How would you describe the four of you all? because you all four were
Okay.
very. I don't want to
He sees
describe
them
y'all.
as different.
Yeah, we
you
were all
had
very different.
very different.
But was it because you're young and playing games and like you have a type? I like this type of music. You like
No,
this?
they were very.
We just had very different personalities,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
were all
yeah.
very good friends.
So I'm interested to know.
So
your
I would
perspective
say
on it.
I was kind of just the quiet one. I felt like I was like quiet, and they were all very popular. I wasn't popular, but I had popular friends. So I was just like the quiet one in the group, and I just came along and I hung out with them, but I didn't feel like, I just felt kind of almost like an outsider. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we had the one girl that was like very popular, knew a lot of people. She would have sex with different guys, and she was just very free, like very like understanding of what she wanted, and she didn't have any restrictions on what she would do to get it. And then we had someone who was very athletic and had like the big brother, and like she just felt very in control of her body and just very powerful. She just had a good sense of,
You gotta tame those ones.
she was very much a like alpha kind of female.
You gotta tame them.
And then we had another girl who was I don't know, she was just always seeking approval. You know, like she just wanted to be liked by people who were considered important, and just, you know, I don't know. But I've always considered myself just like kind of a outsider, for sure. Just I don't know.
The artsy outsider.
I guess so. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I don't know exactly. I guess that's something to be explored, how that translates sexually, you know. Because, I don't know, I wasn't very forward with guys. And, like, there are a lot of missed opportunities for sure, I feel, in my lifetime. But,
Do you feel a certain type of way about that?
yeah. I feel like I just could have done a lot more.
Why don't you do it now?
I mean, connections don't happen that easily. I just feel like my circle.
It's moments.
Yeah, my circle is not. I mean, when you're young, you're constantly. I mean, you're in.
You have more opportunities for the
Yeah,
moments.
you're
From
going to
certain-
football
you was closer
games.
to-
You're going to
okay.
like all these things,
Wow.
and then as you get older, your circle gets smaller, and you see the
Wow.
same people all the time, and it's like.
Wow.
There's no one in this circle that I'm trying to, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like, be intimate with. So, it's just different.
Okay.
And I think that's why the appeal of traveling somewhere new, because even if you meet someone that doesn't meet your quote unquote standards, you're still more likely to maybe engage with them because it's just something that you wanted to do anyway, but you just haven't had the opportunity to do in your normal setting.
Wow.
So. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. You just said a mouthful to me.
Dude, what do you think about those girls? Do you have a different opinion, or
No. So
because you know the same girls? So
it's pretty much what she's saying. So to me, she was the. I don't want to say good. I don't like using that term, good girl, bad girl, but
no, but by society standards, you're talking about.
yeah. You know, she was more of the. There's someone who has to be agreeable for a group to be cohesive.
Right.
You know, like everybody can't be the leader. You know what I mean? Like, so she was more of the lead from the back type. You know what I mean? And the other one was, there was two of them that were more aggressive and two of them that were more passive in a different type of way. You know what I mean? And two of them that were more boyfriendish and two of them that were more free, like she said, you know. And listen to her describe them is kind of like, yeah, it was one that was very athletic, one that was, you know, really, she was the one I was saying that I couldn't really say she was a hoe, but she definitely got around because she didn't have any shame about it. Almost, she wasn't. She carried herself very
She owned her sexuality.
Yeah, that's a great way. Yeah, she definitely owned it. And then the other one was very approval seeking. You know what I mean? Which kind of came off as, so maybe, you know, because this is kind of how I frame my archetypes of.
But you'd have to ask her if she really owned it, because it has to be from her perspective, because it'd be interesting to ask her, because she might not agree. She mean? Might say, well, even that girl that supposedly owned her sexuality, she might say, well, actually, I did this for this reason or that reason, or I wasn't, I actually wanted to do this, or I didn't want to do that, but I felt like I should. You don't really know.
Fair enough.
Like, from the outside, maybe she looks like she did, but
yeah,
did she really do what she wanted? Is she really happy with that? She might be. I don't know. But I'm just saying.
I was with her for a long time. Yeah. She didn't, because I'll say this. From my experience, some girls kind of have this sadness to them of like, I did something and I feel ashamed about it, or I'm, that was me back then and that's not me now when I'm trying to be something. She's always been pretty consistent in terms of, this is how I am and this is what I've done. And so it was almost like people never shamed her about it because she didn't shame herself, if that make any sense. So she never had this kind of thing of like, I am hiding the fact that I'm sleeping with these guys, like some girls that I know, where it's like, I don't want anybody to know. She wasn't like one of those like closet girls where she's really acting like she's this way, but then she's really a slut. You know what I mean? And then she wasn't really promoting that she was a slut.
Yeah,
it was just
living her life.
I liked them. I fucked them and
dating 3 guys and having sex with 3 guys. So
it was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying?
She was like,
drop me off over here. Okay, I'm out there. Okay, pick me up at 8. Okay, I come back out. Well, it's fine. I'm gonna go fuck with this girl and I'm gonna come get you later. And that was kind of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The vibe was kind of different. It wasn't this kind of. I feel like I can sense insecurity in people. In women,
I mean?
Yeah. So I can kind of sense
because you see yourself pretty well.
Yeah.
You see other people. You can
for
see
sure. Yeah. So
I agree with that.
I never felt that feeling of low self-worth. This is what I'm trying to say. They're women. I feel like they have low self-worth, and then they do things out of that low self-worth, and I didn't get that from her. She didn't ever strike me as having a feeling of low self-value. She didn't feel like she was being driven by that, if that's what I'm trying. That makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, but would you say that was those? Have you seen more archetypes of women than the 4 of y'all?
Yeah.
Sure. That's what we trying to get out of you.
I mean, I feel like I answered the question, but maybe I'm just not being as detailed as
because we're writing a book and we're trying to get as many.
It's got to be details.
We gotta fill this book up with different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely the sexually confident woman, the conservative woman who is always worried about how people see her, and the woman who, there's a type of woman who is very confident and like kind of controls men, like the one you said that needs to be tamed. Like that particular type of woman is like, men are always coming back to her. You know what I mean? She'll have relationships, she'll be done with them, she'll move on, and then that ex is always like coming back, trying to like reestablish that connection. So that tends to happen to her a lot. And I don't know if it's because she's so like in control in those relationships and not really like trying to conform to what they want or what they want her to be. It's just like,
well, it could also be somebody who gave up. Because when you give up, then you give up, just, I'm going to get out of life, because like I got burned too many times. So I'm just going to get,
Yeah.
the guy, I'm not going to fall into these guys' arms. I'm not going to let myself. But the thing is that they lose in the end, those types, because I don't know if this girl's this type, but I mean, that I'm thinking about this type because they're basically not going to fall in love with anybody.
Yeah.
That is just all, what can you give me,
Yeah.
And then the guys, there's something in the guys that fires them up, makes them want to give more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
trying to get her approval or get her something to win her.
Right. Yeah.
Terrible.
But then in the end, that kind of girl. I mean, I think you could, like, I have a friend. I know a guy. I should say acquaintance, and the guy is a dishonest businessman. Like, there's no question about it. And he's amassed over $20 million, and I would have to say he's ruined some lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him as a very happy guy. Mm-hmm. If I see a picture of him, I just saw a picture on Facebook, and again, he's like not a happy face, and he's on a yacht, and I don't know if he's a winner. I really don't feel like I would never trade my life for his ever.
Yeah.
But he wins as far as in that sense. I mean, I don't think of myself as not winning. Like, I've had a lot of successful ventures. I could end up having, if I have one other big one, I could end up having more money than him. But it's not from that sense. It's like he just grinds it out and steals money, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's basically what he does, right? But he's not happy. I think girls like that, it's kind of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just grinding it out. They're just like, who's going to give me more? If you don't give me more, you're out of here.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Or just not being, like you said, just being sheltered in a way, because she did have an older brother that was really popular, and he dated a lot of girls.
No, but in the end, you figure it out that the guys are trying to get your, and then you play them.
Yeah.
Is that, am I right about her? Or?
Yeah, I feel like, she was just figuring that. I think she just already had this assumption that most guys were not genuine in their approach, and that she was just kind of like...
So she could do whatever she wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to cut them off early, and
unless they really put... Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not into that. Like, that's not...
Yeah, sounds like a lot of work.
What's that?
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, for men, for sure. But I think if I could choose the type of person I would be, it would probably be more like that person. Like, I just feel like she just has more control of the situation. Like...
Definitely she's got control.
Yeah.
No question about it, she's got control.
But like you said, how happy is she? I don't know.
Is that really what you want? Because I know for sure I can get girls where they will, a certain type of girl will just do whatever I want. Like, literally, like, if I wanted to be Charlie Manson and get them to do stuff, I could do that with some girls. Like,
right.
It's been proven. But that doesn't turn me on. Like, it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Because having power over people feels...
But it doesn't. It's not what I want. It's
exactly.
Not, and I'm telling you from the truth. Like, I really don't want that. I want some more of a mutual type of thing. I don't want some girl just sitting on the beach watching me surfing all day, and then as soon as we get done, it's like, where do you want to eat? We eat at my place, and then where do you want to do? And then she's waiting, and then it's not real, and it's
maybe she like you that much. Why you say it's not real?
Of course they do. Yeah, of course these ones. I don't know.
It's not stimulating.
It's
not exciting in any way, right? I
mean, but you saying that you want the guys to do that?
It would be easier for me, like, to be...
Oh, it's easy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, then you're going to have them all.
I mean, like you said, who knows? There's no guarantee of happiness in that situation, but, you'd be able to...
What do you mean guaranteed? There is no happiness.
Right.
You're playing the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's just like a decision that you're going to play the guys, and not fall into it. I know a lot of women, they'll get burned, like they'll have this happens a lot. Like a woman will be a very good girl and then get burned by one guy, just one guy, whoever doesn't, some random guy, and then they decide they're going full evil, like right after that. Like they're just gonna, from then on, they're never gonna fall in love, they're never gonna do anything, and that is just like, I mean, to me, it's sad because I can see it's sad because there's the good and there's the great, right, in life, right? And I'm not saying, like, in some sense they're protecting themselves, and they're positively doing something, and they're making a decision, and they're not letting. So it's not like it's all bad, but it's giving up on life. Like it's like concreting over the forest or something. Like it's easy to have a concreted forest, You don't have to do anything. There's no animals to hurt you, But there's no fucking forest.
Yeah.
The forest is gone.
The life.
And then once it's gone, like, that song, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Like, when the forest is gone, you think you want it gone. You think, well, I don't want that. But then once it's gone, you realize that is what life is.
Yeah.
That is the whole frustrating thing about it.
Yeah.
It's that miserable fucking, I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that, because I mean, it would be easier to just have someone that I could manipulate and control, but
I understand the desire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like in a fantasy, like I will have them doing what I want,
whatever I want them to do.
This,
Yeah.
Like some Egyptian.
Yeah,
cartoon
exactly.
Where they're just carrying
like
everything
on a
the
schedule,
fire.
just do whatever I say. Yeah. But yeah, no,
the men glistening in the sun carrying the logs.
Yeah, but I guess that's just not the way I was designed at all. I don't have that type of personality.
If you got that, I bet it wouldn't make you happy. I'm not saying it won't.
Yeah,
it might make you happy. I can't say for sure, but because I've had it, and I realized a lot of guys would just love to have that.
Yeah, but like you said, there's just a certain type of personality that will allow you to do that to them. So it's like, do you want that person that's just constantly waiting to see what makes you happy in order to do anything? What do you want to eat tonight? What are you doing today? I'm going to follow you around today. And it's just like, there's
also just the boringness of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like, stimulating at all. Like, you just need someone that complements your life, not necessarily just going along with whatever you suggest.
The only thing was good about that I was thinking about one particular girl, is she was up for threesomes or whatever.
Okay.
She was up for
it. But do you think
she was totally.
Do you think that was really her desire, or do you think she was just doing that?
Okay. Now this is interesting. He says, who cares? I tell you, this is one thing I will say, is, of course, it's not black and white. There's no simple answers in every situation. Is good. Your mileage may vary, type thing, right?
Yeah.
Consult your doctor and lawyer, right? But the thing is like, I personally think that the girl who is trying to make me happy sexually is the one I like more.
Well,
because I see in her, even if she doesn't want to do it, I can tell that she doesn't really want to do it, but she's doing it for me. And there's some point where I look at her like a little deer. I'm like, this poor thing. Like, she likes me so much. She's doing this girl's totally awesome. Like, I'm underestimating this girl. This girl's really good. Yeah. So yeah.
But
there's a guy, in a guy we have like a soft side, even though you're doing this other thing, and you think, well, this girl's goddamn good. I'm gonna make sure she.
I think in a healthy sexual relationship, your focus should be on what your partner wants, because if you're both focusing on each other, then things will work out, the way they should. But I mean, just that, I think about that woman, like, was she really into that threesome, or was she just doing it because it's something that he wanted? Like, did she get any sexual pleasure from that?
Well, if she might have gotten, she probably did get some.
Yeah. Sure,
She would basically look at me like she did it for me. I in the end, I knew that.
Yeah.
And that is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Because if they do it for sexual pleasure, they might do it with anybody.
Yeah.
But if they're doing it for me, it's because they really like me.
Yeah.
And just like I might do something for her that I would be out of character.
Yeah.
You know, or for somebody, I might just do something. And it's like, I don't really care. I know you're like that too, Shawn. You don't care what people think of you. You're
No.
if you just want to do something for a girl, you're just going to do it. And you just give a fuck. That usually you don't do this. And if somebody saw this or whatever the fuck, you're just like, I want to do this thing for her. You know, it's all good.
Yeah.
So I think in general, like if a girl is like saying she doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that, that's just not attractive. It's just so unattractive.
Yeah, I'm not quite with that either. So it seems like it's just, at the end of the day, it's just this mixed bag of things. You know what I'm saying?
But it's about communication too. Cause
Okay.
She has to tell me that she did it for me. If not with her face or with her. Not that I don't mind if she does it for pleasure, but I mean, if she does it for me and she did it for me, then if she tells me, like, I basically just did this to make you happy.
Yeah.
There's something in me is like, we can work things out.
Yeah.
But I thought you said you didn't.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to sex, it's a little different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When it comes to other things,
don't cook for you without permission. But
that's right. That's right. When it comes to sex, that's totally different.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's just only sex. Yeah. That's it. The other things, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's interesting about
You're
this.
funny for noticing that.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this for me is that as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about you as a type. Like, right? Because a lot of the girls that I talk about, they're a type that's different from you. So sometimes I can make these kind of sweeping generalizations, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys that I see do this where it's kind of like, oh, girls are all X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the girls that I've had certain experiences with, some of them were, I'm just, kind of processing it in my mind.
Yeah.
The different experiences that I've had, and now to hear your type of girl, your perspective, it's kind of like I'm like thinking about how that type of girl, that experience with that woman was.
How would you summarize me as a type?
I don't see her as a type, by the way.
Yeah.
To me,
I can't.
Yeah. And again, when I say these types, I mean this is it's not like this kind of. You're in this box.
Let me just say, it's fair to you to say that because she's going to write a book about types of women, but she hasn't thought about whether she wants to be called a type, right?
Well,
so it's like, it's like, think about that. Like, do they want to be called the type? If you got to say, well, I'm this type, at least you got to be able to say.
I'm talking about like patterns. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, yeah, I don't want to be a type, but I have patterns. Like, me and you have like a very similar pattern.
Yeah.
When I met, like what I was telling her was that when I met you, I resonated with you from the perspective of I felt a similarity in our patterns of behavior.
Exactly. That's why I called you Spot On Shawn.
Is that yeah? So it's like
you're always with me, like whatever.
Yeah, it's like whether you call that a type or whatever you called it.
Yeah.
Certain people, different people have certain similar patterns. You know what I mean? Like so. These similar patterns, I'm just using the word type for lack of a better word, but we can say similar patterns. We can similar patterns that you exhibit. I've seen those similar patterns in different women. Similar patterns other girls exhibit. I've seen those similar patterns in different women. And from that perspective, the book, kind of goes through these similar patterns of people who exhibit these similar behaviors and have these similar outcomes from their similar behaviors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
as much as you may not want to, because I did for a long time, I felt like I ain't got no type. What you talking about? But I'm the type that ain't got no type.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the type that, I can kind of be any type. I can go in it. So for me, you're like the art type. You know what I'm saying? You're creative. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're the creative.
But what does that translate into sexually, though? I mean, I guess it's hard for you to comment on me sexually because you don't really. I mean, you don't.
You're asking, is there a connection between type and sexuality in his mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an artsy type. Like, how do you view an artsy type sexually? Like, what would you consider their pattern of behavior? Because if I were to think of an artsy type, I would think that she was like more free and just like willing to just explore how she feels and her wants and desires.
But it's that it's the feel. I'm moving according to like
how I feel.
How I feel. The feels. You know what I'm saying? Is for you just listening to you talk. You're moving according to this feeling that you're seeking, to this connection. You know what I mean? That, and I'm not saying that all women are to some degree, because I just think that they're varying degrees. There's a spectrum of everything. It's just, where are you on the spectrum? In my perspective, it's kind of like when I see guys, there's a level of sexuality on the spectrum of guys. Like, I thought that all guys was as aggressive as me, and it's like they're not. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, oh, okay. There's aggression, and then there's a spectrum of aggression. There's sexuality, and then there's a spectrum of. So it's more of where do you kind of fall on the spectrum. So what it is that I sense from you was just that, okay, I might have wanted to do something, but it didn't feel, a certain type of way. You know what I mean? So maybe you're more in tune with. It's kind of like feeling that you're seeking to find. Where some girls I've seen, they're seeking to find they're seeking to find a situation. You know what I mean? They're seeking to find some money, or they're seeking to find some type of thing, and I think you're seeking to find some type of feeling, maybe.
I was just thinking. Okay, so I'll just throw in my thoughts from hearing you. I think that maybe you think you should be somebody else. Like, you should not be who you are. You should be somebody else. You should be this other girl who runs all the guys or whatever. But the thing is, we can't be anybody else. Like, we are ourselves, right? We are what we kind of are born with, right? Whatever that is. And when it comes to sexuality, how other people look and how we feel is like different, like even how we look and how we feel are different. Like, sometimes I'll see a picture of myself and it will be like a picture, like did I see that picture when I had that chime shirt on? Yeah. Like, that picture looks like a sexual guy, but sometimes I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll see a picture of myself and I'll be like, what? Who kind of, I wish I could be like that more often, or something like that. Yeah. So we don't see ourselves, and sometimes I don't want to be what I am, because I'll be like, I'd rather be some other type. Like, especially like when I look back at all those girls, I think, why did I have to be such a fucking wolf with everybody? Like, why did I have to just, why was I so relentless? Like, I don't know why. Why couldn't I just be more, easygoing about it or something, or whatever? Why can't I just? Yeah, because you always want what you can't have, right? You always want what you can't have, right?
I want to come run around the world. Fuck everybody.
Yeah, like, why? Why do I don't have to do? But then there's a point where you just accept that this is what I am, right?
Yeah. And
now, of course, as you change as a man, you really do change. So I am not the same person just because I don't feel the same way. Yeah. But I still am what I am at this age. I am what I am, a certain type or a certain whatever. But I think, I'm guessing that and this could be a great conversation, because nobody thinks about these things and nobody challenges each other on these things, right? But if you accept what you really are sexually, it's probably going to be pretty good. Whatever that is. Yeah. Not just like, I have to be like this.
So what you're saying is, like,
should
you feel
be.
Like
she's not being that.
Sexually.
I can just, from what you said, I can almost say for sure. Stamp. Yeah. She's not being who she is. And whatever that is. But the thing is, when you
I feel like that about you.
But
I do feel like that.
But when you actually get out there and start doing it, you might find it's more complicated than you thought. And you might not be who you thought you wanted to be, or you had to be, or what was cool or whatever, because you might just find that is, you are, like kind of what you are, right? And it's like, just like I am what I am and he is what he is, And I think if you really accept and explore that, you're going to go better places than if you A, don't do anything, or B, try to be like this other girl. Because if you were like her, you would have been like her.
Yeah.
Like you would have done that.
Yes.
And I will say, I don't think I would put real serious doubts that girl's happy. I really would. Because I know that type and I've been there. Yeah. And it's complicated.
Fair enough.
You can get money, but
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I like the forest.
Yeah.
The real animals out there that can kill you,
Right.
And the cottonmouth snakes and I don't want to just, we were talking today, concrete the forest and then recreate fake trees and exactly like it was. Like, I like the fact that it's the way it is.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Even though you get mosquito bugs and bites and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's being able to accept who you are and just be okay with it. That's a big part of it, right? And just
but
not.
There's also, I know. I will say this. Okay, there's accepting, but I don't think it's accepting in this case, because I think you have to create. There's a feeling that you should go A or B, like a one of those decision trees or something, and then you go there, and then that you have a decision tree, and then you're gonna kind of have to create your sexuality is not something you just accept. It's like fashion sense. It takes a long time for somebody to be very sophisticated in fashion. It's not just buying certain clothes that are expensive, right? It's like they know their body, they know the shape of their head, they know their back, they know the way they walk, they know where they go, they know the way they interact with people, they know how they look like from second floor, they know how they look, their butt looks, they know how this looks, how people react to that, and they build. They have like natural feelings and a personality, but that integrating into something that complicated is actually has to be created. You wear something, for example, that you're not quite confident, and then all of a sudden you're confident in wearing that. You're like, I just wear this jacket now.
Or it's modified slightly, and then it becomes more your fit. So
right,
definitely.
And then as you go, then you give a guy, let's say a guy dresses really boring, and then you give him like a lizard skin jacket or whatever, and the dude's like, this is retarded, I can't wear this. And then you're like, it's cold, we got nothing else, wear this fucking thing, And then he wears it for the whole trip, and then he's like, I kind of like this thing. Yeah. And next thing you know, he gets some shoes that match it, right? Yeah. It's become him, right? Yeah. I think sexuality is more like that, where you got to put on the jacket, and you got to like try it out, and continue being honest with yourself, and looking at all the options.
Yeah. Not
just one girl who does a certain way, in a sense of like trying to get. Like a little girl will have a fantasy, like she'll have her princess and she'll have all the people doing what she wants. But the reason why she does that is she just wants her parents to listen to her. And no one's listening to her, right? So she wants people to feel like people listen to her, like she matters, right? Yeah. And so then she'll create this like over the top fantasy, but it's just because people aren't listening to her, right? But once you listen to her, then the fantasy is gone because she doesn't really want to be a princess. She doesn't really want that. It was another desire that led her to think she wanted that, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
Well, I think that, like I said, as I've gotten older, I just am becoming more in touch with what I want and not necessarily, what other people want of me or from me. Yeah. So I haven't really necessarily acted on that, but I'm more aware of it. So I feel like we said, like these situations, opportunities, whether it's sexual or otherwise, like things pop up in our lives, and whether or not we take advantage of them, can change the course of our lives. And I feel like I'm now in a better place to be able to take advantage of these different opportunities or be able to recognize them and realize that it's now or never, like you have to do it, or this may never come up again. So I feel like I'm in a place where I'm able to be more heard because I'm able to express myself and communicate how I feel more effectively than I have been in the past. So sometimes it's not about hoping people will listen to you, but it's about just making your voice known.
But I think 80% of communication is nonverbal.
For sure.
Sometimes a girl can make herself very known,
Yeah.
but without saying a fucking word.
Yeah.
And I think that is more attractive to guys.
Yeah. Because no one wants to be like barking out orders, like do this, do that.
When it comes
Like-
too verbal,
Yeah.
Like-
It just gets.
you forget that 80% is body.
Yeah.
You're like people will be frustrated with the way they are, and they'll say, "I'm gonna change," and they change, but they go all verbal. They don't notice that before they were like mostly nonverbal, a little bit verbal. Now they're like all verbal, and they're like, "Why doesn't everybody do what I want?" They don't like women. People are not fair to me, But it's like they're in the process of change, which is a very difficult process, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be some black eyes in the middle.
For sure.
Right.
Change is difficult.
I think as a girl,
Definitely.
like using your body is the best thing.
Yeah.
Like, eyes and body is
Yeah.
once you know what you want, like the guy knows it's down. He's
Yeah. And I think it's a very important skill that a lot of young women should be made aware of when they're younger. Like the power that they have, because I don't think that we're aware fully of what we're able to accomplish with just gestures or
There is a big difference. Yeah, that's true.
So if we were to really recognize like what we're able to do,
just the subtlest thing.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
then I think that we would approach life in a different way. So yeah.
Because them was the ones that sucked me in.
Yeah.
The ones that knew how to.
Yeah, you just have to be able to.
It's part of being a woman, right?
Yeah,
It's
like
Yeah.
I like do that feminine shit.
It's
You
part
know
of
what I
Yes.
mean? It's like, oh shit.
For sure. Some
Yeah,
people,
I get it.
master it
Damn.
very young, and some people never quite grasp it. But
Master their femininity.
yeah, some people take control of that at a very young age. You know what I mean? Like they just know how to manipulate people with their like aura, basically. You know what I mean?
Nonverbal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nonverbal.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Now that I'm sitting there thinking about it.
But it's not just manipulating; it's communicating.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, because
yeah.
that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
What it's been for you to me. Why am I always even trying to like push you? Hey, come on, let's do X, Y, and Z. Now it's coming to me. It's because I've always seen you play the back role and be the backbone, and it's been like, but you always have the best ideas, and it's like, no, you should be the leader because you're the smartest, But you always kind of like put everybody first. Oh well, my grandma. Okay, my friends. Okay, my X, Y, and Z. And it's kind of like go along to get along type thing. And it's kind of like, I feel like you'll wake up one day. My fear for you is, I don't want to say fear, but my concern for you as your friend has always been, you wake up one day and it's kind of like all these great ideas you didn't execute. You know what I mean? And then here I am, super fucking successful. And it's like, hey man, I told you the X, Y, and Z. And it's like, oh no, it's okay. And no, you can be like, I've always tried to be like, look at what you can do if you put your mind and look at these ideas.
An honest girl can have an insanely popular YouTube channel.
Yes,
Just telling the truth about stuff
yeah,
from a woman's perspective. Like,
yeah,
it
that's
can be-
what the whole movement is about. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, tell them how you think.
like just being yourself and not being controlled by anything.
Yeah, just tell them what you.
Yeah.
People want to know
Yeah.
this type of stuff.
Like whatever the fuck it is, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's so crazy how it is today. Like, do you ever listen to Chris Smooth? Chris Smooth, he's got a YouTube channel. I watch him all the time, but he does basketball, and all he does is he takes clips, like 2 minutes long, but the dude knows basketball, and when he does it, it's funny and it's honest, and he's not afraid of saying whatever is true. right? You know what I mean? Like if some star is going downhill, he will say it, whereas the other guys won't because of the shoe contracts. So on ESPN they can't say the truth, whereas Chris will just be like, and he says it in a funny way, and he'll just be like, and then it's just like, whoa. And he always, whenever he picks out a game, he picks out the key things that people who love basketball will understand why that is a key thing. Like the people that don't know basketball, they won't really get it. But if you really love basketball, you'll be like, that was it. That was the turning point. That fucking point right there. And he points that out.
Yeah.
And he gets like 4 million views. A video,
wow.
and like I don't even know what ESPN gets, but probably less.
Yeah.
And he's like one dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's not obviously not scripted.
I think that's the movement right now. The movement is just.
And I watch him because ESPN is so full of shit. They won't say anything bad about LeBron because he fucking got so many contracts.
No, that's the movement. Is just being true to self and true to who you are and like projecting that and like putting that out. Yeah, I just think to put yourself out there, man. Put the ideas out there.
Yeah, like even if you talked about sexuality, if you talked about your sexuality, like difficulty in expressing yourself, you probably have a fucking 100,000 guys watching the channel. And the thing is, in those people, they're real people.
Yeah.
I mean, they're real. These are guys who listen to my channel, and like they're real fucking people. You're reaching out. You're expressing your unique thinking, your unique way, and then people that are into that will come to that. People think they're dumb on the internet. That's the exact opposite. They're only idiots if you lie when you make content. You will attract idiots.
Yeah.
But if you tell the truth, then you'll attract people that you like, and that actually you actually have some connection with. But it's all up to you as a content creator if you make something. If you that's why most people say, like the follow fans or whatever, is because they're being fake.
Yeah.
Or they don't have anything to give, or something's wrong.
Yeah.
If they're attracting people they don't like, there's something fucking wrong. Because you should be if you're putting yourself out there, like super honest, and people are coming to you, you're going through millions of people to find these people.
Yeah.
That have the same mindset.
Yeah.
Which is a miracle. You can't do that anywhere else.
Yeah.
You could have like a fucking 100 good guys following you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just talking, you're telling the truth. I mean, even if it's dirty story, whatever, you're just telling it. And guys are just like listening, and you'd be surprised. It's amazing, actually. And also, how you control the comment section matters.
Okay.
If you let people go crazy, then they will go crazy, and you'll get idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. Like, I saw some people had some weird comments, and I was gonna ask you, like,
Give me a specific.
well, not the
Which comment? Like
the video that we did last time. I saw some guy that said we were warlocks. We were war.
Oh, I didn't see it yet.
Yeah, he wrote a long thing that said we were witches. We were man witches.
Oh.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, we're in some type of.
Just delete the negative comments.
No. What I do is my own way. Like, I actually spend time on the comment section. So, I will look at the comment, and I will. Sometimes it'll take me 2 or 3 days to think of the answer. You know what I'm going to say. Like, I'll actually put, kind of like when I was doing commercial real estate. Yeah, I will, when I reply to something, it's sensitive, right? One wrong email can turn a deal off, right? So I take that same seriousness. Like, I'll look at the email, I'll think about it, and often they'll have commented before, so I'll kind of have a sense of where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And then I'll try to, if I think, well, they have limited information to go on because they've only heard my podcast. So they don't know the way I really live. So sometimes they don't have all the information.
Yeah.
So I'll try to show them. Basically, I reply very reasonably and intelligently, and I think about it. And I care. And most people don't. They say, oh, comment section is just a bunch of garbage, people yelling. If that's your opinion, you're going to end up with a shitty comment section. Mm. But if you take it really seriously and you really put yourself out there and, like, people will attack me, like, say, you're an absolute fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then I will, take my time, and I might say, given what you know from that video, on that point, I can see why you think that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's more, that you don't know.
What it is, yeah.
So I'll reply, like, he's not replying very reasonably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just like full on attack. But then I'll think, well, okay, maybe his style is not good, but what is he saying here? Usually they're saying something.
Yeah.
And from what he knows, that would make sense. He might not know much about myself or much about women or whatever it is. So he might not really understand what I'm really saying. So I'll just reply and let him know that he doesn't know exactly, enough about the situation. But I'll also I'll put myself open to a guy who's attacking me.
Okay.
And what happens is they stop attacking because they realize you're like a real person. Like they suddenly kind of stop and they're like, wait a second. Like they kind of expect you to go full force. AK-47, or just start deleting and stuff. The only guys I've ever deleted, people putting spam links on there. Yeah. People always promoting another channel. Like they're just trying to promote their channel on my comment section. That one's not that bad, but it's not the best. You can't build the channel that way. It's a bad.
It's kind of lame.
It's lame,
actually.
But the thing is, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So there's no.
It's kind of whack.
Like people are not going to follow that type of comment.
Yeah.
So it's just get rid of it. And then if somebody is racist, I'll just take it off. Or if somebody's really hateful against women, like really just. I just feel like when I meet people in person, I get a sense because I actually meet people. Mine's not just a channel. I actually meet them. So I know more about them than most people would. Yeah. In fact, almost anybody I know, like no other people I know that do video, like pretty much meet them. Right? I do. So if somebody's really screwed up, like really screwed up in their comment, they're usually way more screwed up in person. Like that's been my experience. Like they're really like their life is really a mess. Yeah. And so there's nothing you can't reason with that. You can't.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do like, and it's very offensive to YouTube and other people. Yeah. And if I could help, I would try, but there's a point where somebody can be just so off base that there's nothing.
Yeah.
So that in that chance, there's been a few comments, but I probably in 3 years or whatever it is, I've probably only deleted like 5 comments. Like I very few. Like I don't delete many. The people always say you're going to delete this, but I don't. You can go through and see how many times people say, you're gonna. I know you're gonna block me, and then I don't.
Oh man, let it all be there.
But people notice that too. They notice that you don't do that.
Yeah.
So they actually are smarter than people think. So treat them as smart, and if they're not, then they're gonna get weeded out by the fact that you're saying stuff that's difficult to understand or something.
I read this book that said that you are supposed to ignore, like, don't focus on the comments at all or the feedback because it takes you off your path.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's tons of stuff like that. I when I'm making content, I don't listen to anybody. I don't read anything. I don't listen to anything. And like often, like people will say, like one of the guys on the tour, Chime Time, will say, "Let's do a topic on this." I can't do it that way. Like I just can't do it that way because I'm not making content just to make content. I'm not making like, "Oh, here's a good topic. Let's talk about this." It has to be like burning in my soul. Yeah. Where it's like all of a sudden I wake up. It's like the other day I was just like I woke up. I'm like, I'm recording right now, and it just went out and did the last episode. Yeah. And it was just like it had to come out. It's like a baby. It's just gotten too big. It's got to get out. That's the way ideas are. Yeah.
It's better that way because since you told me what you said the other time when you was here, you said don't say it, let it build. I've been able to like make better stuff because I just hold it in my mind. And then the first time it comes out is the first time I'm saying it. Right. And it comes out much, much better. Right. Yeah. Right. It's almost like letting the air out of a balloon. When I say it too much and start talking about it and then I go try to talk about it, it's almost like it's rehearsed. And it has this like rehearsed type of feeling. But when it's like I hold it in my mind and let it flow. I let it brew.
You're in the flow.
It just
everything just goes, right?
You know. But
this has been a long one. Really long one. Yeah. All right, if you guys survived 2 hours and 3 minutes,
Jesus, that's how long we've been talking.
Congratulations. Omedetou gozaimasu. That's Japanese. Congratulations. All right, thanks, guys.